and the Orioles will meet a familiar friend and face, Nelson Cruz. He is tearing it up right now for the M's with a very big bat and a long hit streak. Wei-Yin Chen will try and close that down, get the Orioles their 4th win on this road trip. Game 1 of 3, the O's and M's. Cheer on, young lady. It's the Orioles on Bassett, and the road trip continues out west. Safeco Field is the site. This is the final 3 games of the road trip. The Orioles take on the Mariners to conclude their season series this year. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. Beautiful day here, roof open. Lovely night for baseball. And for the Orioles, they are 3-3 on the trip so far. This trip obviously got talked about and looked at long before it started. Anytime a club's coming from the east to the west, generally it's going to be a tough streak. The Orioles have got a shot, though, at coming out of this in pretty good shape. Take a look at the numbers on what they've done on the road trip so far. A .500 record, batting average a very respectable .287 on this trip. Runner and scoring position numbers since the All-Star break have been down in general for the Orioles, and down on this trip .250, even though the club is still second in the American League overall. 4.8 runs a ball game. The Orioles get 4 or more, they win. They are doing that. Team ERA at 3.79. Respectable, especially if the offense keep those numbers going. But 24-34 is still their record on the road. Manny Machado's been the best in batting average. It's been Machado and Davis on the road in home runs with 11. Manny leads the ball club in road RBIs. Miguel Gonzalez, the winningest Oriole pitcher on the road, with 6 this year. And Zach Britton, as always, with that magnificent ERA homer on the road. So, Jim Palmer, that's where we are as we start the first of 3 here.
Yeah, and the same number that is consistent. They came on the road. Of course, they've treaded water going 3-3. So now what, 21-31, now 24-34. This is a team that's got a better lineup when we talk about the Mariners, but they don't play well at home. Really haven't played as well as I think anybody expects, especially White and McClendon. But you look at those numbers that we showed you, I think the one thing that you like to see is that the runs are almost up a run a game. So you're going to need to do it here. And then again, you're just going to have to hope that your starting pitching gets a little bit better. Gonzalez got some in the early lead yesterday. The 3-run home run on an 0-2 pitch kind of turned the game around. The Orioles would come back, get some home runs. But again, this is one of those series, Gary, you'd love to sweep, but you got to win 2 out of 3.
And Wei-Yin Chen will start it out tonight to try and do that. The Orioles have done well when he's been the starting pitcher, although for Wei-Yin Chen, the fact the Orioles do well doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to win the ball game. Take a look at some numbers on Wei-Yin Chen this season. When Wei-Yin Chen makes starts, the struggle has been the Orioles just do not get him runs. His numbers are good. 5 wins, though, in 21 starts, even though he's got the 11th best ERA in the American League. Why? The Orioles average 3.8 a game in Chen starts. That is the 9th lowest run support in the American League.
Well, a couple of things. He's very good against the American League West. It looks like he's going to be a potential free agent unless the Orioles come up and sign him. So he's 14-5 against the West, low ERA. The other thing is when he did lose to Seattle, the Orioles winning 2 out of 3 in May back in Seattle. The guy, John Rusciano, hit a home run off him. He's no longer with the Mariners. So, again, yes, they have Trumbo. Now they have Gutierrez. Seager hits lefties better than righties. You can go down the list. And then again, the hottest guy on the planet is the former Oriole, Nelson Cruz. 19-game hitting streak. Home runs, 12 of them in 19 games. He's the guy, you look at the lineup, you go, we're going to just kind of 4. That's an intentional walk. Pitch around them, but the key to pitching around Nelson Cruz, you got to get the guys out in front of them and then behind them.
And this team right now is on their hottest offensive streak of the season. When the Orioles played them at Camden Yards, the Orioles took 2 out of 3, but this lineup, half of the lineup is different than what it was in Baltimore.
Logan Morrison came over in a trade from Miami, and I said to Lloyd McClendon around the cage, how do you ever get 146 at bats against left-handed pitching? He said personnel problems. Well, they've made the trades. So here's a team that's really not in the race, but they're in the race to win ball games. They won 87 games last year. It's disappointing. Bullpen not as good. And then Nuno, who's going to start for him, hadn't won in 16 starts, but again, don't be deceived by that because he's pitched a lot better than his records indicates. So again, you come in here, I just thought the thing that you really like about the Orioles was the fact they're scoring more runs on the road. They've had trouble doing that all year long.
Now the Orioles have made a roster change themselves for this game. Chaz Rowe just put on the DL prior to the batting practice beginning for the Orioles here in the ball game. Michael Givens has been brought back up. Bursitis in the throwing shoulder is the reason given for him going on the DL, so Givens is back.
Yeah, and he pitched real well. I mean, he's a young guy right out of Double-A, threw strikes, 93 to 95, had a nice little changeup. And Chaz Rowe, maybe that's one of the reasons over the last maybe 3 weeks, the stuff. He's a movement guy. He's always been in the strike zone, but now he's starting to get hit. And then, of course, with Tommy Hunter now with the Cubs, it just gives you one less guy. So, again, Givens comes back. You still got Jason Garcia. Good thing about him is that they want him because we don't have a lot of depth in the minor league organization. He did throw the ball 96, 97, so I don't know if you'll see a lot of them, but hopefully tonight the key is for Chen to go deep in the ball game. But something he could not do in Oakland because of the walks. Never walks anybody. Walked 4 guys in his last start in Oakland.
And a good point, Jim, because the Orioles bullpen has been taxed, extra innings, short outings by the starters, so they really do need a deep start by Wei-Yin Chen in this ball game. He lives here. So do Oriole fans. They're on hand. Orioles Mariners baseball coming up from Seattle. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Puget Sound in the harbor where the big Ferris wheel is loaded every day. Take a look at our BGE home game time temperature. Roof is open. It is 81 degrees. A little breeze will be blowing out towards center to start. BGE Home, Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? Take a look at the Orioles starting lineup brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fare right now at southwest.com. Machado, Power, and Jones, Davis, Wieters, and Scope. Lake will get the start in left field. Hardy and Joseph against Seattle, the team, the organization that he came up with. Those are the numbers for Adam Jones.
And the Orioles will see Vidal Nuno out of California. And you saw him when he was pitching with the Yankees. And, so he'll come on. Again, as we mentioned, you can see fastballs and breaking balls, a couple curveballs and sliders, and then a changeup to go with it. Again, he pitched mostly out of the bullpen for the Mariners. Came over in a trade back in early June. So again, not overpowering, but you can see the numbers against lefties. And then again, a fly ball pitcher. We'll see how that holds up. Pretty big ballpark here, even though they brought the right center field part of the ballpark in last year. Again, finesse lefty, but his pitching coach, Rick Waits, who was also a left-hander, said he can lull you to sleep and then throw the ball by you. So we'll see if that happens tonight.
The Orioles have done well against left-handers on the year, 15-11. That is 5th best in the American League win percentage-wise. They hit 10 points higher against lefties overall than they do right-handers. So we open up 3-game set in Seattle, and Manny Machado in that leadoff spot. Manny's got a 6-game hit streak coming in, as Machado has faced Nuno 3 times, 0 for 3. Left-hander's pitch will be there for a strike, and we are underway. For Manny this year, 302 against the left-handers, 301 against the righties. How's that for a split? Down the line in right field, and that'll be first souvenir.
Well, he uses the whole field. He's coming off a 9 for 15 3-game series against the Angels. Hanging curveball off of Garrett Richards, deposit that into the bullpen for his 24th home run.
Left-hander will miss with that one down low. Machado's hit streak is a real one. He's hitting .429 during the 6-game streak. He's had a home run, 2 RBIs, and 4 runs scored during that span. Manny will go after one to right field this time. Of course, it's Nelson Cruz. How else would you start the ball game without Cruz catching him?
Yeah, take a look at their defense, and Nelson Cruz will start out there. He's been playing a lot of right field. When the Orioles saw the Mariners back in May, Austin Jackson had a sprained ankle. Gutierrez comes off the disabled list really for about a year and a half. Seager, Marte, Cano, Gold Glover, Montero, former catcher, now playing first, and then former #1 draft choice Mike Zunino.
That'll bring Parra to the plate. That's the Orioles right fielder. Jurado hitting in that #2 spot will go after the first pitch and foul it back. He's had a hit in 2 at-bats lifetime off Nuno, and Parra a couple of hits and 11 at-bats off lefties since joining the Orioles. 27 years old, 3 wins, 15 losses in his career. Had been in the bullpen and on the inside corner for a strike. Chris Guccione is our home plate umpire. Corey Blazer, Jeff Nelson, Laz Diaz make up the crew. Behind home plate, Guccione pretty straight up in that strike zone. It's about the way it's written out in the book. Fouled off the other way.
Yeah, all you ever ask is, #1, what is your strike zone? Because it applies both pitchers and hitters. And is a strike and a ball going to be the same as the game progresses?
Straightaway D on him. Parra takes the pitch. Nuno thought he had it, and it will miss outside for a ball. Well, he started to walk away.
Yeah, we saw the first RBI and the first home run yesterday off Corey Rasmus, but he can hit the ball to left field.
Parra will go that way foul.
And then Seager way off the line. So they just kind of take away that hole. Yeah, they just kind of take the hole away from him. Kind of the Tony Gwynn hole. He's going to move back. He was kind of looking into the stands.
He's talking to Bobby Dickerson. I don't think Bobby's going to help him with a defensive alignment. That is fouled away up into the seats again. For Nuno against the Orioles, 4th career appearance, his 2nd start. He is 0-2, a very high 11.17 ERA in his career against the Orioles. So most of the O's have seen him. 1-2 delivery on the way. Parra again that way foul.
But an older, more experienced version. I mean, of course, last year with Arizona, he goes 0-7. He really didn't pitch that poorly. They never scored runs for him. I mean, he's kind of, at least he was the Diamondbacks version of Wayne Chen. Similar run support in the 3.5 range.
1-2 delivery off the fist. We have seen Parra continually do this, which you love. For a guy who's hitting up in the order and in that first inning fouling pitches off. He's already taken 8 pitches in this at bat. He's drawn 3 walks, has struck out 7 times. This will be his 9th game in an Oriole uniform. The 1 home run, 1 RBI. This time he got jammed, goes the other way.
And what he's hoping is that Nuno will maybe make a mistake, and he hasn't. So until then, a couple of things. Pitch count. Nuno's throwing nothing but strikes, and the pitch count is mounting.
Parra, 1-2 delivery again. Parra lifetime .236 off lefties, .291 off right-handers, but those numbers do not hold true this year. This year against lefties, he's hitting .292 and .335 off right-handers. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Pitch on the way to him, and that is ripped down near the fair pole, but it'll be a foul ball.
Well, that's when you can hit. I just remember, when Terry Crowley came up here, guys that had long swings would got a lot shorter, and the whole thing is you react to the ball. If you trust your swing, Scott Coolbaugh with the Orioles now says the same thing. So this is in. Trying to throw a ball by him. Great angle right here. You can see how short the swing is, and it's all about your front arm. So if the elbow goes up, the bat loops. If you can keep that front arm, which would be his right arm, close to your body, it allows you to get the bat head out, and not only do you able to pull the ball, you're able to keep it fair sometimes.
There's Scott looking on for Parra. Pitch on the way down the line in left field. Gutierrez is there. He's got it. The battle won by Nuno, but 13 pitches to get the out.
So now 17 pitches thrown and 15 of them for strikes. I'll take a look, and again, this is what we're talking about. Nuno, again, not a lot of run support. I looked at Shelby Miller's number. I watched him pitch. He didn't pitch against the Orioles. He's getting 2.65 runs, and then Detweiler, he's started. He's been in the bullpen, and we've seen him with a couple of clubs this year. But Miller, he goes out there every 5th day, and he's got electric stuff, and he still doesn't win.
Here's Adam Jones. Came up, of course, in the Seattle organization, acquired by the Orioles in one of the worst trades Seattle has ever made. No secret there. I'm not saying anything out of school on that. That's the way it worked out. Adams become the all-star Gold Glove center fielder, and the Orioles got a number of players who.
Chris Tillman.
Chris Tillman for one. Others weren't here, like Sherrill, who contributed in the time they were here. He drives that center field. Jackson back looking. Hey, goodbye, home run. Hello, Seattle. Adam Jones delivers the homer. That will make him smile big when he's off camera. It is the 5th home run he's had in this ballpark.
Yeah, every time the Oriole gray with wearing number 10, a lot of trepidation up here. I mean, this is a absolute bullet. A little breaking ball that stays up. But we saw him, of course, down in Angel Land, 5 for 26 on this trip, kind of pulling balls around him. That's the perfect swing.
He's had 2 home runs and 5 at bats against Nuno, and the Orioles have the early lead.
And take a look right here. I mean, it just kind of comes back to the middle and then it's launched. So this park plays pretty big unless you hit it like that.
Chris Davis will foul that one away. For Jones, the first home run he's had against Seattle this year. The career home runs continue to pile up, 4 of them, and he's had 5 home runs in this ballpark. Now, of course, those numbers don't match up because he hit one here with Seattle in this ballpark. Chris Davis, of course, has been on a tear. He's got a 7-game hit streak coming into the ball game. Chris on a swing and a miss and a pitch down and away. Nuno gets the strikeout. The Orioles get the run. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. Adam Jones delivering the long ball, and that will send Chen to the mound with a lead. against these Mariners. Take a look at the starting lineup for them. Marte, Seager, and Cruz. Cano, Gutierrez, Jackson, Montero, Trumbo, and Zunino. For Nelson this season, just magnificent. Right field, DH, long ball, either place.
And Wei and Chen, a lot of fastballs. They were asking me, how is he a power pitcher and be successful in Camden Yards? Well, he can get the ball out of the middle of the plate when he's on his game. So slider, curveball, and then change up, 5 and 6. ERA, 3 starts ago was 2.88, so it's come up. 5 home runs in his last 3 starts, and then again the 4 walks in Oakland.
And the first pitch taken for a strike. Ketel Marte, the leadoff batter. He is their shortstop, a switch hitter. See the numbers on him for the season. And Chen will come inside to him. So 2 lefties going against one another tonight.
Yeah, he had a nice little start down at AAA Tacoma, so they called him up.
Marte will go towards right. Scope is back, and he's got it.
Take a look at the Oriole defense. 42 errors. Least amount in the big leagues. Blake, we haven't seen him. He was the DH the other night in Los Angeles or in Orange County. Blake Jones, 4 Gold Gloves. Parr, 2 Gold Gloves. Machado, Platinum Glove. Cardi, 3 gloves. Scope playing like a Gold Lover. Davis and Pickett, and then Caleb Joseph, second-year catcher, red hot with the bat.
That'll bring Kyle Seager to the plate. The left-hander against Chen is 1 for 20. Yikes. Delivery to him will be taken for a strike.
Yeah, and they talk about the reverse splits because this year, 247 against righties. With
307 off lefties.
Yeah, with some power.
Amazing numbers. None of that has shown up against Wei and Chen yet. And he'll take the pitch inside for a ball. For Chen against Seattle, 7th career start, 2 wins, 3 losses. He's got a good ERA, 3.33 lifetime against them. He's 1-1 in this ballpark with a 3.28 at Safeco Field. He's had 4 career starts here with that 1-1 record. Kyle Seager waiting on it, and a fastball is going to come inside, and he shakes that wrist because that was close. He was leaning in a little bit. Right at wrist high, and boy, hitters do not want to be touched there. Those are the kind of injuries that take you out for a long time.
Well, you're not hitting 307 if you can't cover the outside corner against lefties, and that's why you're susceptible. And that's Mike Flanagan used to talk about it when he became not only a starter, Cy Young Award winner, but a late inning specialist. He said all the good ones, that left shoulder stays in, and then the hitters tell you, hey, you got to hit the breaking ball that starts at you until you get to 2 strikes like Seager is here, and then you really battle.
And the delivery by Chen, and he got all of that one. That's 380 in that power alley. Pyro back, and it's going to hit right at the base. Thinking about 3, he'll make the turn and stay at second. Pyro recovers, gets it in. Just missed tying the ball game up. Seager's second hit against Chen. Yeah,
that is so far out of Camden Yards, but you do have some room in the power alleys. But he really puts a good swing on it. It doesn't quite get in, so you can see him. Again, just gets the bat head to the ball and drives it to right center. And again, they brought that in last year, maybe just a little bit of the left of that 380. So, in Baltimore, that's 373 to the power alley, 364. You're 376 to left, and then 380 to right center.
And here he is, Nelson Cruz. Could spend the entire night talking about Nelson and what he's doing. 19-game hit streak to begin with. He is 2 for 9 lifetime against Chen, and he gets an RBI chance right here. Take a look at our Jeep inside the numbers. Wow.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, very, very consistent. Only 1 month, which was June, when the average was down there. Every other month over 300. This month 455.
He leads the league in hits now, and he will take the pitch for a strike. He is 8th in RBIs in the American League, and obviously has become a very big favorite here in this ballpark.
Yeah, and what we talked about is that if you get the hitters out in front of him, which he didn't, then you can maybe pitch a little more carefully. But with Cano on deck, who's also hitting well as of late, this lineup much more formidable. I mean, you can look all the way, totally different lineup. with Montero and Trumbo and Gutierrez. As we mentioned, Jackson back, Cano hot, Cruz red hot, Seager hitting lefties.
390 off left-handers for Nelson Cruz. Runner off second base, and a big swing and a miss. Oh, that was a big cut. He has the second best average. Xander Bogaerts with the Red Sox is hitting 390, and so is Cruz against left-handers coming into today's play, the top averages in the American League. Scope will move over towards second base, not quite behind it. They'll give up the run here. The infield is back very deep. Pitch will be up and in. Talking with Buck Showalter for the game, Jim, he said, look, you look in the lineup, what do you see? Cruz, Cano. Don't let them beat us.
Well, except, again, if the guys in front of them get on, then you have to pitch to them, and that's the difficulty. Those are your table setters.
2-2 delivery, put up in the air to right field. Parra. Runner will tag at second. Parra will make the throw all the way through. And a good one. Not in time.
Well, he's got a good arm, and he can do everything. And again, you're thinking, okay, maybe this is a throw, but when you make that kind of throw, number one, Orioles have 33 assists. He hasn't been a big part of it because he was recently acquired, but Chen's behind him, so it's really not that risky a throw. It kind of sets up the whole series when you know a right fielder has this kind of arm.
This is what the scouts look at, and they make a mark on their books on this one.
And again, if you sustain the tag and he comes off, the inning's over. I mean, it's a great tag by Manny. The throw allows him to get the ball and just watch him. In our new word, tagology. So if the toe comes off and you see that on the video, you ask for a replay, and sometimes you get an out.
Good slide by Seager. Now Cano gets the RBI chance. 2-down runner at third. Chen has thrown a couple of wild pitches. Seager will get an extra big lead at third if he can, and he can. Cano grounds that one towards the middle. Jonathan Scope is there, picks it up, makes the play. Chen works his way out of the gym. No runs on one hit, no errors, and one left on base. After one, the Orioles have a 1-0 lead. Laurel, 500 for being selected, 500 more for every Orioles home run hit tonight, and there's already been one of those. Play baseball buck scratch-offs win up to $50,000 or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/baseball. Good luck. Dave Wallace, pitching coach, talking to the Oriole catcher, Caleb Joseph. Learn, learn, learn.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And Dave Wallace, he knows his stuff.
Yep.
Professor Wallace.
Been around a long time with a lot of pitchers and organizations to learn. Here is Matt Wieters. Wieters is going to DH. 4-game hit streak for him. And the pitch will be taken away. For Matt during the streak, 5 hits, 17 at bats, including a home run. He has scored a couple of runs in the streak and has 2 RBIs. And the left-hander's pitch to him will miss away.
Well, yeah, we've seen him catch. We've seen him DH. We've seen him play first base up in Oakland.
Not catching back-to-back games. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Nuno gets that one in, 3-1.
And I'm not sure he couldn't do it. I think it's more of a protective thing for the elbow coming off the Tommy John surgery. I mean, last May. It's not a long time. And I guess as a catcher, you do so much throwing. You know, I think you do probably more high stress throwing if you're an outfielder, because if you're throwing, but if you're a catcher, constantly.
A lot of tosses. You count those back to the mound. And a swing and a miss. Nuno will pick up the strikeout, 2 in a row for him.
Yeah, one of those little backdoor sliders. That is exactly the same pitch that Adam Jones hit over the center field fence in the first. You can see the glove, and he just started out away, and you think, you know, you got to cover because of the 2 strikes. If it's early in the count, take a look right here. So it's around the outside corner, actually catches it. Great camera shot here at Safeco Field in Seattle.
Jonathan Scope's got an 8-game hit streak going, and the pitch will be taken for a ball. Hitting the ball hard. He's gone 500 during the streak, 14 for 28. A home run, 5 RBIs, and 4 runs scored. That is major offensive contribution right there. And he's played an outstanding D at second base.
Yeah, he holds a whole nother dimension when he hits like this. Everybody knows he's a great defensive player.
And foul tipped into the mitt.
And I don't know if I've ever seen anybody that big play that well defensively at second base. Rocket arm, turns double play with the best of them.
Left-hander's delivery down low. In my opinion, you have the strongest throwing second baseman in the game, in this game. Scope and Cano. I don't think any 2 guys at second base have stronger arms. That one down the line, you run out of foul territory in a hurry down there, and that'll be in the seats.
Yeah, they have a little bit different styles. You know, Cano, you'll see a little more casual, but in fact, you don't really see him. Kind of like when Cal Ripken. Cal could, you know, he's a pitcher coming up. Almost, some people thought he was going to sign as a pitcher instead of a shortstop.
Down to third, short hop. Good play made. Singer gets the out. And again, barreling up. Don't miss the season's next fireworks night this Friday. Orioles come back home, take on the A's after the game. Beautiful post-game fireworks display presented by Baltimore area credit unions. Tickets on sale at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Nuno came over from Arizona on June 3rd in a deal. Last year, he went 2-12 with a 4.56 ERA combined. Diamondbacks Yankees 28 starts. They needed help in the bullpen, so Nuno was put in the pen. Now making his 2nd start and his 20th appearance of the year, as they needed another starter. And that will be driven the other way and foul by Lake. So Junior Lake gets the chance at it in left field.
Yeah, we saw him the other night, got a double ground ball that hit the bag and hopped over Connor Gillespie's head. Big, tall, rangy hitter.
And that'll be up high.
I used to see those kind of guys and I'm going, okay, I know they have power, but they also have a big strike zone. And then if you expand it, it'll be even easier to get the big guys out.
Delivery, left-hander will bounce that one in, and Lake takes it. So the evens count up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lake has been a DH for the Orioles as well as playing in the outfield. Tommy Hunter deal with the Cubs. Went to AAA. Norfolk played 4 games, called up by the Orioles.
Over 300 both with Iowa and Norfolk. I mean, limited bats down at Norfolk before he came to the Orioles.
Left-hander swings and deals and misses it away and up at 89. Nuno, by the way, took J.A. Happ's spot, traded to the Pirates at the deadline, so that opened up a spot in the rotation, and they took Nuno out of the bullpen and put him in the starting role. 3-2 delivery on the way and got him.
Yeah, he loves that pitch, that little backdoor slider.
That'll be his third strikeout, 2 in this inning. Retires the side in order. How beautiful is that? At the hotel tonight. Bryce Harper, prior to the All-Star game, slugging percentage way up there. Since has dropped to .487. For Justin Upton, he was in discussion trade involvement with the Orioles at one point. Last 54 games, it's really fallen off with a .197 average, and the other numbers are down. The Detroit Tigers, their pitchers have continued to amaze with numbers that nobody dreamed would happen to them this year. The most home runs given off the majors.
Yeah, and they don't play all their games. They play half them in a very big ballpark. Still able to serve them up. You know, Harper, you can understand with all the injuries the Nats have had this year. After a while, you go, just what we talked about, Nelson Cruz disease. Why would you pitch to him? You pitch around, and then of course he wants to win. And he's a very young hitter, very talented at 22. So he's probably maybe expanding a little bit. But what a year he's having.
Franco Gutierrez will stand in. Among the players who did not appear against the Orioles in the 3-game set in Baltimore is Gutierrez. Set up outside, Caleb Joseph pitches there. Gutierrez did not play in the first series, nor did Jackson, Marte, Montero. This is their first up against the Orioles.
Well, yeah, he helps them against lefties and righties. He's used to be a great center fielder before all the injuries. And able to take that one. I mean, he had that. I was talking to him. I said, so what actually was on? He had gastritis. He had this arthritic. It was a very I can't even pronounce it, so I won't try. But he said he had so many symptoms they never could really pinpoint it, and then missed all of last season, the entire year.
Chen's delivery to him and came back with a fastball and just blew that by him at 92 miles an hour.
Yeah, he had a pretty authoritative swing, but just doesn't get to it. Take a look at our Nissan pitch track. I mean, you're going to see right where, look where Caleb sits. And again, with Wei and Chen, you can do that. He's so good to the glove side, which is right where they're going again.
326 off left-handers. Pumps that one to left field. Warning track. Wall up. Goodbye. Home run. Blake got back there, but could not get to it. Gutierrez delivers the homer, and this is a tie game.
Yeah, what a swing that is. This is the dimension. It is such a much better lineup. We talked about, again, not only against lefties. I mean, Gutierrez, all the health situations, but a Gold Glover. That ball doesn't, maybe not in, but it's 2-2. And then you got a tall lefty all the way up and probably about 18 inches over his head. So great effort. And it was a high fly ball, so plenty of time to get back. Just couldn't reach it.
Gutierrez gets his 5th home run of the season, ties the game up, his 4th lifetime home run against the Orioles. And that, of course, has been a problem for Wei and Chen, the long ball. He's given up 23 home runs now. He has given up the 4th most home runs in the American League. Still, a lot of solo shots, and that has allowed that ERA to stay at 3.32.
Got to understand, when you go in, you better go way in. And he didn't.
Be true to your name.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then the problem is, okay, leadoff batter. You have a 1-0 lead. You really don't want to go 3-2. A little breaking ball that's fouled straight back. Wow. See Chris Guccione making sure that he doesn't stagger back. So again, when you go in, it's got to be up and in.
Jackson will foul that one back into the screen. Their center fielder has picked up the pace, 272 over the last 23 ball games. Jackson's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, and whether or not he will be back here remains in question. 6 home runs, 29 RBIs. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way to him, and that'll be a bouncer. Just rolls away. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's funny how, I mean, Wei and Chen has had a lot of success. You know, Nuno had won a game in 16 starts. But the one thing Nuno does a little bit better than Wayne is that he can locate to the arm side. We've seen that little cut fastball. Wayne's not as comfortable.
That one the other way down the line. Parra over. And will make the running catch. First out of the inning. Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use O's Couch Cam, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Oriole fans, many of them continuing their trip with the ball club out west. It wraps up here with the 3 games against Seattle. Montero up. Montero's got a 3-game hit streak overall. He's had a hit in each of his last 8 starts, and will take the pitch away. He is just 1 for 10 against Chen. Montero getting the start at first base in his first game against the Orioles this year. He will uncork that one backwards. 304 off the lefties, 353 off righties, but not a lot of at bats against either. As Montero, as we said, called up AAA Tacoma for the 2nd time on the 21st of July. Fooled him. Chen had him way out in front on that breaking ball.
Yeah, what's so great about that curveball? It started in the strike zone and went to a ball. I don't think there's ever any question that Jesus Montero would figure out how to hit. Of course, he was a catcher, and he was in the Michael Pineda trade.
It's been a very disappointing season for Seattle. They really believe they had got the right names on that roster to come away with a shot at chasing the division down, but they are 52-60. Lloyd McClendon now seeing his ball club playing a little more like what they thought they'd see all year. Outside of third and foul. He's got a real whip in that swing. Kind of courts it
well,
back.
if you go back when he first came up with the Yankees, he hit 2 home runs to right center field. And of course, you know, John Sterling. Jesus is loose. And then, of course, he would hit fly balls because he's got some power.
That'll go to short. Hardy. Good stretch and gets the out. Need we even add that once we say hit to Hardy, the rest is automatic.
Well, you know, I played with Aparicio, then I had Belanger, so Louis in the Hall of Fame, Mark 8 Gold Gloves. Then I graduated, and back congratulations to Cal. This was the 1981, his debut in the 12th inning when he came to the big leagues and actually pinch ran for Kenny Singleton. John Lowenstein drove him in, but then I had Cal at shortstop.
Towering pop up in the air by Mark Trumbo. Jones is all the way in, and Adam will make the catch. So a run on a hit. Gutierrez led off the inning with his 5th home run. 2 homers. Jones, Gutierrez, 1-1. Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Beautiful look at the city from the sound on the day. Looked just like that all day. Just beautiful. Hardy. I met JJ's dad today. I'd never met his father before. Real nice man. Just happened to bump into him on the street. I did not know him. He stopped, introduced himself, said hi. Had a little conversation. Told him you did a hell of a job with your son. And
did he ever? And his mom. Mom was very athletic too.
Yeah. I don't care about the athletic part of it, but I sure do like the quality of the man. Here is JJ Hardy, 1 for 3 against Nuno. Hardy with Joseph to follow, then Manny Machado top of the order. Nuno with the pitch at 84 kept it away from him.
Yeah, that's that little slider or maybe a cutter. Anything for movement when you top out around 90.
3 for 12 this year against Seattle. Off the end of the bat that time. Marte's got it. You can tell Marte makes the play. This Saturday, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over get the J.J. Hardy orange replica jersey. It'll be the A's in town, 7:05 game, and you can add to your wardrobe. This is the O's popular alternate jersey. Good seats remain. Tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Lights starting to take effect. Sunset time here in Seattle. Caleb Joseph. Caleb 0 for 3 off Nuno. Takes the pitch away. Caleb, though, has now reached the double-digit mark in homers and also has the 38 RBIs. What a month of August so far. 8 for 16 with 3 home runs in August.
And they're all down and in. He said, don't tell anybody. I said, they already know. Now, whether you can get out of that position, 2-0, let's see if he gets a pitch to hit. He does, but a little bit late on it.
Caleb just having a sensational season for the Orioles. Well, and against lefties, 266.
Yeah, the big number is, again, the RBIs, 360. Runners in scoring position.
2-1 delivery on the way by Nuno, and that'll be a floater. He just slipped out of his hand that time at 79. 3 ball, 1 strike count.
Well, I think what happens is your advanced guy says, hey, he's got a pretty quick bat. So maybe you try something else in a fastball count.
And Joseph, don't try that. Ooh, it's on the warning track and hauled in.
Yeah, another little cutter, so it just moves enough. Good swing. That's what you want to do, 3-1, but just missed it.
Gutierrez, who was playing deep, got back to the warning track quickly. Couple of outs. Get in on the baseball action with Masson. Text the word Orioles to 29292 for team alerts and chances to win exclusive prizes all season long, including meet and greets with your favorite players. Orioles 29292. O's alert you can't miss. Pitch taken down low for a ball. Manny Machado. Manny flied out first time up.
Yeah, I think what you have to do, the approach by Adam Jones, is that little cutter. You got to go back up the middle, and I'm not sure you're going to hit a home run every time, but he just changes speeds, cuts it a little bit. He'll come in, he'll add, subtract. He got J.J. Hardy to start this inning on a real good changeup. Better go back up the middle.
Got that one at the knees, in for his strike. Manny 6th in hits, 6th in runs in the American League starting the day, and the 6-game hit streak. That one was up and in, fouls it off. Here's our Maryland Live Casino Inside the Numbers. Manny's on it.
Yep. Well, Victor Martinez, Adrian Gonzalez, Brendan Bosch, and then Salvador Perez catches for Kansas City.
And that pitch is there, and he knew it. And he wants to fling the bat, but he's a mature baseball player now. He tried that before, and it didn't work. That's going to be 4 strikeouts picked up by Nuno.
spring, and he had a really good spring out of Cuba. And you're kind of wondering, with 20 more games to go in the month of August, and they will expand the rosters, and maybe we will not actually see his name on a graphic. We will actually see him. What do you think? Still looking for a left fielder. I mean,
3-run homer in his first at bat today.
Okay, so why wait that long?
Bring him up.
Well, you got Givens. Givens, he left in the morning, and he's here.
He's here.
Michael back on the active roster because of the Chaz Rowe deal.
Zunino 0 for his last 19, dropping that average down to 171. He's had only one hit against Wei and Chen in his career. 1 for 9. Chen's pitch will be up. Ball game tied at 1 apiece. Zunino just 218 off lefties, 156 off right-handers. Mike Zunino, pitch by Chen to him, and that's not a strike. Looked pretty good, though.
Yeah, a lot of strikeouts. 117, doesn't walk a lot, 19, and that's all in 315 at bats, but tremendous power.
2-1. Zunino goes after a pitch well located down and away and can't catch up to it.
He's kind of got the zone, and I mean, obviously Caleb Joseph with the runners in scoring position numbers a lot better, but yeah, it's kind of like, you know, from the middle to maybe the inside third, you can just drop the bat on it and hit it a long way.
2-2 delivery, and the catcher will foul that one back. Good arm. He's thrown out 38% of base stealers against him. It's not exceptionally high, but it's there. He's had 5 sacrificed bunts this season, which is 9th best in the American League. That'll come inside and just miss. So the count will go full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Wei and Chen, the 0-1 mark this year, the 2-3 mark lifetime against Seattle. Pitch on the way, and that'll be to left, and a nice running catch made by Lake. Junior Lake, playing deep, had a long way to go and got it.
Yeah, he reads the bat real well. If you take any kind of drop step, this is going to fall for a single because he jams it. See him just trying to pull the bat in, and then, boy, no hesitation whatsoever. So the rangy Junior Lake able to put it into the web. Falls it right into the glove.
That's why you have those extra long fingers for the outfield gloves.
And for him, it's the whole body.
Yes. It's really funny to, not funny, just ironic to look where he plays and where Adam Jones plays. That one, attempted bunt by Marte, is foul back. You got Lake way back in left field and Adam Jones way in. I mean, way in center field, and Powers kind of moved in too in right.
Well, they're the Gold Glovers. I still think Adam maybe on counts and outs, maybe 1 or 2 steps. That's all. I mean, he comes in so well. He goes back well. I mean, again, it was a highlight reel every day in Anaheim.
And he stays right there.
But you know, and I learned this from Earl Weaver, and hey, balls over your head are extra base hits. Balls in front of you are singles. So the scoreboard, the outs, you know,
dictate
time of the
positioning.
Game. Yeah.
Pitch will be away. For Ketel Marte made his major league debut on the 31st of July. He had been at Tacoma hitting .314 on the year, 65 games there, and done a good job with them. 3 home runs, 29 RBIs. Was in the Futures game this year. Signed as a non-drafted free agent back in 2010. So Marte, switch hitting shortstop. 3 ball, 1 strike count, 1 down, nobody on. Wei and Chen's delivery to him, and that will miss, and there's the first walk. 1 out and 1 on here in the 3rd inning. On Sunday, when the Orioles take on the A's, the first 7,500 fans 14 and under get the Chris Tillman growth poster. It's presented by Topps. Great way to have your child measure up to the 6'5" O's hurler. It is a life-size poster, perfect for young Oriole fans. Tickets, Orioles.com, or 888-848-BIRD.
Yeah, it's a timely walk with Seager, as we mentioned, wearing lefties out. Already doubled and missed a home run by a couple of feet.
Seager on a big cut on a pitch down and away. He's had 24 of the last 29 he's hit safely in a 296 clip over that span. And certainly against the left-handers, that big number he's been in when a lefty's been on the mound. Runner at first and one out. Pitch to him will be a little bit low, maybe outside.
Yeah, he's signed all the way. I saw something like $100 million deal all the way through 2021, option for 2022, third round. He's a good player.
He's a core baseball player.
Yeah.
Huh?
I mean, he can play third well. He can, as we told you, he can hit lefties. Got some power.
1-1 delivery on the way to him. Seager takes and it's in there for a strike.
And that also tells you that if you want to keep your young guys, you got to sign them early and you got to pay them a bunch of money, and they did.
Short lead at first base. Marte being held by Chris Davis. 1-2 the count. Double play depth in the infield. Check swing and held up on it on a pitch down and away. 2-2.
Yeah, you're kind of wondering, is this anywhere around the zone? Because I don't think he swung. Again, his brother is the shortstop of the future for the Dodgers, Corey Seager. I mean, he's one of the top prospects in baseball. I think a little bigger version than Kyle.
2-ball, 2-strike count. Runner goes, had him picked off. Davis moves in, makes the throw. A good one. Got him. Nice play. Good throw by Davis. Got himself in a great position to be away from the runner's lane, and the Orioles get the out.
Yeah, you do that by just taking a couple of steps towards the pitcher. So Marte, pretty good at bat because he walks, and he takes off, heads up, and then again a little 180. But you can see how he cleared the lane, and then a nice little tag.
Now the Orioles are going to put a shift on here. Seager will stand in with nobody on, and as a result of that, the Orioles go into the full shift against the left-handed hitter. 2-2 delivery on the way, and he'll go the other way with it. Long run. Lake Machado. Manny Machado will get there and will put it away. So the D again rising to the occasion. Only 3 batters faced. Ball game is tied 1-1. August 10, 1957, Mickey Mantle, first player to clear the center field hedge at Memorial Stadium. It would later be done by Boog in '62 and Harmon Killebrew in '64. And in 1963, the Boog was at it again on this date. He became the first Oriole to hit 3 home runs in the same game. Now, at this point, 20 have done it. Last one, Davis against the Pirates last year. And for Mickey Mantle, whom we cited, there's the Hall of Fame plaque. 16-time All-Star, 298, 536 home runs, 1,500 plus RBIs, and a lot of that played with a bad knee.
Yes, he did it ever. Saw him hit his 500th home run in Yankee Stadium off of Stu Miller with out on his front foot. You know, the great changeup pitcher.
He hit so many baseballs of record proportions. Almost got one out of the old Tiger Stadium.
Well, he was 1 for 11, and I had a 2-0 lead. Roger Maris on deck, and at 20, I was smart enough to know you're not walking Mickey Mantle to get to Roger Maris. So I went 2-0, and I took a little bit off, and he pulverized the third deck.
That one goes to left field off the bat of Parra. It'll be handled by Gutierrez, and Parra's the first out, 4th inning.
Do you ever do a football game in Yankee Stadium, in the old stadium?
Yes.
Well, you remember how they had the bullpens that went up the right field?
Yeah.
And they had in the third deck, before they remodeled, they had a spotter's box.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was like the home run in the natural.
The lights exploded.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those home runs, and you do throw home runs as a pitcher that you actually admire.
Yeah.
Especially if they don't beat you in the game.
Yeah.
Then you're throwing the glove and kicking dirt and all that kind of stuff. Blaming the catcher. It's not
favorite hobby of pitchers.
You're right, exactly. You deferred everything to somebody else.
And the pitch will be taken away by Adam Jones. Jones, home run number 18, came in the first inning. 2 down, nobody on. 5th home run of the year. Hit off Nuno, and there's another one down the line to the corner. That's going to fall in, and it's going to get by Gutierrez. Rolls around the wall. Adams thinking about third. He'll make the big turn to force the throw and go back to second base. So a double for Adam Jones, and he's 2 for 2 in the ball game.
Yeah, Nuno again out over the plate was a missile to center field for the first run and only run. So here, again, not a hard thrower. He tries to come in. The ball does take a kind of a hook, funny hop. Gutierrez, who won the Gold Glove in 2010, gets by him. And what you like is, Adam, a couple of balls in Anaheim, maybe not full tilt on balls he thought were going out. Right there, ran that out of the box like it could have been a triple.
Chris Davis, and we'll take the pitch for a strike. Runner on at second base, 1 out. So the Orioles, chance to get the lead back. Each team 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. Davis, strikeout victim, his first time to the plate. And Chris will take the big cut on the pitch down and away. On the road this year for Chris.
Yeah, 11 home runs. The average not as good at Camden Yards, but again, out of the 29 home runs, 11. And that one yesterday tied it. Off of Corey Rasmus. He came in and kind of in relief for the Orioles, as it turned out. He threw a couple of solo home runs with a 4-2 lead. And then the Orioles would lose in the 11th.
Chris, 28 RBIs since the All-Star break, is number 1 in the majors. And he's tied for 3rd in home runs with 10 since the break. And the pitch will be taken away. Count goes 2 balls and 2 strikes. You can see the difference in mustaches of those who have a chance at the Hall. Raleigh Fingers gets the ones that's curled up. Chris has the one that gets thick.
Well, he was trimming because he actually had a little bit of a beard going, which you're not allowed to have.
That's going to be a base hit into right field. Adam Jones will make the turn. Here's Cruz. Nelson against his former teammate. And Jones wins it. And he points out to right field. Adam Jones scores. The base hit RBI comes from Chris Davis, and the Orioles have a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, this is all about the secondary lead because, again, it's going to be, it's a sprint. Little slider. This time it's in. No hesitation. Strong throw, and Nelson has it. And again, bang, bang. But if you don't get a good jump, you can see just barely beats the ball, gets by it. Zunino has to go out in front of the plate because it's a little bit offline.
So his 29th RBI since the All-Star break. And there he points out the Cruz. Beat ya. And he did. Davis has 81 runs batted in on the season now for the Orioles. And the Orioles are up 2-1. His 81st RBI puts him in second place behind Josh Donaldson of Toronto with 83. Matt Wieters, a strikeout victim, his first time up. The Orioles 2 runs, 3 hits. Nuno's delivery. Breaking ball inside, and that will send Zunino out to have a word with his battery mate.
Yeah, again, I don't think Mike Zunino likes the sequence, getting behind hitters. Second time through the orders. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get Matt Wieters with that little cutter that he struck him out on the last time because he's seen it. In fact, I'm sure the whole team is very aware. Scott Coolbaugh, the hitting instructor, saying, okay, backdoor sliders. Until you get to 2 strikes, you can look away.
Wieters with the big cut, and at 84, a little out in front of that one.
I'll take it all back because he swung at that pitch, but he got it down.
2 ball, 1 strike count to Matt Davis. Short lead at first. Jesus Montero holding the bag on him. Delivery will be out in front again. This time fouled off, pulls it foul down the line. So a 2 ball, 2 strike count to Wieters.
Yeah, he's got to be about movement. And again, because he's not overpowering, he's got to, it's got to be, you try to throw enough strikes to get to these counts and then pitch out of the strike zone if you can.
2-2. That's going to be a base hit into left center field. Davis will go to second and stay as Jackson will get it in. That's 3 consecutive hits. A double, 2 singles coming after there was 1 away here in the 4th inning. So Wieters now has a 5-game hit streak. And the Orioles have runners at first and second and only 1 out.
Yeah, it all started when he got behind Adam Jones and he doubled into the corner and then didn't make a real good 2-strike pitch to Davis. That time got it in, but Matt had a good at bat. A combination of maybe not pitching as well, and the Orioles have made an adjustment here in the 4th.
Jonathan Scope grounded out his first time up. He'll take the pitch inside. Scope 273 with a chance to pick up an RBI. The Orioles still second as a team, hitting 281 in these situations. 1-0 delivery on the way, swing and a miss. The Orioles have dropped back down to the second fewest opportunities with runners in scoring position, but when they get them, they make them count. It's exactly the opposite for Seattle. They've had the 6th most, and they are last in average with runners in scoring position. Talking to Rich Donnelly, the third base coach for them, he said before the game, he said, I cannot tell you how many times we have had runners at second and third with less than 2 out, and the inning ends and they are still there. The Orioles just the opposite. 1 ball, 2 strike count, 1 away, 2 on and inside.
Well, that's why they went out and got Edgar Martinez, and the offense has certainly perked up since he came, early June, with almost a run more a game. And there is Rich Donnelly.
And the pitch will be taken inside. So all of a sudden, Nuno's struggling here, trying to get the location down. Scope 3-2. See what the runners do here with Davis and Wieters. They stay with the iron. Ball put up in the air, left center field. Jackson will make the catch, and the runners will stay, and there are 2 down. So Jonathan 0 for 2. Lake will get the opportunity. Junior Lake, a strikeout victim, his first time up. That's how close you are to downtown here at Safeco Football Stadium right across the street.
Sodo, so south of downtown.
Sodo.
Trains run by here.
Pitch on the way to him, and that'll be down low. They play soccer next door too in the football stadium. You were telling me today they draw 45 to 50,000 for soccer games here. They have the largest average attendance in the country. And a strike taken. Soccer's really caught on. The football games played here, they fill that up for college and pro.
I think Washington State, I think maybe. I went over to a game with my friend Frank Blethyn, publisher of the Seattle Times, long time best friend in high school and college roommate. Ooh,
that's taken for a strike. Lake just caught off balance on that one.
Yeah,
Orioles 1 for 2 so far in these situations.
Yeah, Nuno trying to figure out how can I finesse my way out of this inning.
That's kind of what he has to do.
Oh yes.
Lake struck out his first time up, run in on the Davis RBI single, and that breaking ball will miss. The Mariners got a real break yesterday. Felix Hernandez went deep into the ball game when he had very little going for him, but he gutted his way through it, said his manager, and as a result the bullpen got a very much needed rest. So they come in with a bullpen ready to go in this series. Foul back over the screen. they can get 5 out of Nuno, they'll be more than happy.
Well, that 11-inning game against the Rangers. It'll do its toll on your bullpen.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Davis at second, Wieters at first, and a swing and a miss. So Nuno will pick up the strikeout, his 5th, but the Orioles will get a run on 3 hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. Taking the ferry out to the islands. Visit whywaitintheer.com.
Yeah, so we told you about Nelson Cruz, who's hitting, at least came into the game, .455. He leads the pack. Carrera of the Phils, then Encarnacion of the Blue Jays, and then of course getting on, either hit, walk, error, reaching. He's again, and again also those 19 games. What, he's got 12 home runs in the 19 games.
Yep.
Extra base hits in 9 straight games.
He can set a mark. Nelson Cruz, with those extra base hits in 9 straight, is 1 short of the team record that was set by Ken Griffey Jr. back in 1993. He flied out his first time up, takes that one the other way and foul. Cruz, Cano, Gutierrez due up. We're in the 4th inning. 2-1 lead. Orioles on top. Adam Jones, a home run in the 1st inning. RBI single by Davis in the 4th. Gutierrez had a home run in the 2nd that tied the game 1-1. 0-1 delivery to him will be taken inside. Cruz obviously gathering with all his former teammates around the batting cage before the game today. And Nelson will foul tip that one into the mitt. Good location by Chen on that 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, the key for him, and we saw it when he was playing for Texas, to staying healthy. Used to get quad pulls. Worked hard on that. He stayed healthy last year. Hit 40 home runs for the Orioles.
That one into right field is going to be a base hit. A 20-game hit streak.
Whoa.
Played by Parra in time to hold him at first base.
So you make a good pitch, and how many times have you not only see him hit singles to right field, but drive the ball that way? So again, you go away, and this is how you take the outside corner away with 2 strikes. The Angels did a great job of it.
So Cruz is on leadoff single. Parra able to get to that with Cruz making the turn. Couple of power bats right there. Here is Cano. Robinson Cano grounded out his first time up. He too hitting the ball hard. Career 20-game high hit streak now for Nelson Cruz. Cano will try and move him around. Gutierrez waiting on deck.
No, he's heated up. We get all these numbers. Offense better because last 32 games well over.
Inside out swing. Lake. And Cano, always a big out, is retired. On Wednesday, August 19, all fans at that evening's 7:05 game against the mighty Mets will receive the Manny Machado Jonathan Scope Handshake Orioles t-shirt. Great young stars with their signature on-field greeting. Great addition to your wardrobe. Get your tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Here is Franklin Gutierrez coming up. Home run number 5 came in the second inning, leading it off. Gutierrez first home run hit off Chen. He's now 2 for 4 against it.
Well, you walk into a ballpark as a pitcher and you go, okay, where do I want him to hit the ball? And it's usually to the big part. They tried to come in, didn't quite get it in. He hit it well, probably hit it about maybe 360. Center field, it's a can of corn. Left field, it's a home run.
And trying to get that outside corner knee pitch, and he's been there a few times and didn't miss by much on that one. 2-0.
Yeah, there is the power zone. So, and it wasn't a horrible pitch. I mean, it had, he had an idea. Joseph moved in, but Gutierrez put a good swing on it. Because his numbers support him. He's now a 300 hitter, so he's swinging the bat well.
2-0 count. Gutierrez will take that one for a strike. Got fooled on that, just kind of froze and watched it come in.
Yeah, he goes, oh, wait a minute, I didn't hear that in the advanced report that he's going to hook me. 2-0. Nice pitch, though.
2 ball, 1 strike count. Cruz with the short lead at first. Chen's delivery to him, and that's out in front into the chalk, right out in front of home plate, and then fouled it off. Wayne Kirby showing he still has it. See, that's how you do it. Pointing out to Manny Machado, saying, now you do that. Manny says, yeah.
I'll listen to Bobby Dickerson.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the outfield guy. Look about Jimmy Paredes with his glove.
He's ready.
Yeah. He's
2-2 delivery, and he blew it by him at 93 and did get that pitch down and away.
Well, Wei and Chen, fast learner. He tries to come into it to the same count, and he homers. This time outside corner. Look at where Joseph is sitting. Caleb right on the corner. And again, with 2 strikes, you can't take that pitch. Too close. Perfect pitch.
So that will bring Austin Jackson to the plate with a runner at first, 2 away. He flied out to right field his first time up. Seattle coming in 8.5 games off the division lead. They are 52-60 on the year, and it's about next year for the Seattle team, as they're also 8 games out of the wild card. 1-0 delivery on the way, and that'll be pump foul. The Orioles trying to gain ground on the Yankees. Toronto's the red hot team. They've won 8 in a row. They're a game and a half behind New York. The Orioles in 3rd place, 5 games out, but only 3 games out of a wild card spot.
And the Angels lost tonight to Chicago. And they were what, 2 up, I think, in the wild card, or is it 3?
Pitch will be taken up high. The Angels now with 52 losses, and the Orioles with 54.
Yeah. So that 3, if the Orioles could win tonight, would shrink to 2. Chris Sale was pitching for the White Sox, but maybe had a Sale-like evening.
He's had a tough second half. 2 ball, 1 strike count. And Chen's pitch is going to miss up high. Still, leadoff single by Cruz. He's over there at first base.
Yeah, and they're making Wayan work. No easy innings. And that's because he's a power guy. He's not a finesse lefty like Nuno.
3-1. Runner not going anywhere, and foul back. Got one to drive, couldn't do it. And the count is full, 3-2.
Yeah, he had one of those swings that he did get what he was looking for. But that's why Austin Jackson, of course, the ankle sprain early. Coming off a year last year. Of course, he got traded from the Tigers where the numbers were down.
Runner goes, bounce it to Hardy. He'll go over to first base and record the out on Jackson. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Pitchers duel underway here in Seattle. Orioles up.
nice little start. Adam Jones. He will hit his 18th home run of the year, 1-0. And then here comes Gutierrez, back from being missing all of last year, ties it up 1-1. And then off of Nuno, nice little base hit after the Jones double. Chris Davis, a nice slide at the plate, beats the throw from Nelson Cruz. And the Orioles with a 2-1 lead. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
Nuno, the left-hander, remains on his second start of the year against Colorado. Last outing, made the start, only lasted 3 2/3, 3 runs, 5 hits in that game. For Nuno in his career, this is his 33rd start. J.J. Hardy leading it off for the Orioles. Hardy grounded out his first time up. Mariners have already had bullpen action once in the ball game. Lloyd McClendon will not hesitate to go there. Nuno appears to be tiring and gets in trouble. Cut off at third base. Seager. 1 down. Pretty good play right there. Well, let's take a look at our T-Mobile fan photo as we've made our selection of the data strong fan photo of the game. You can tweet your strongest fan photo to O's Couch Cam. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. We love those shirts. We always have. We always will.
As long as they're being worn by somebody else.
They have a place in our heart. Here's Caleb Joseph. Joseph will take the pitch down low for a ball.
Well, Gnome guy he's followed us to Seattle.
Gnome guy.
Yes, Gnome guy's behind the dugout early on.
Can't miss him.
No.
Caleb Joseph puts it up in the air to center.
I know he has that shirt.
Jackson's got it, and there are 2 down. Nuno doing a good job here in this second start.
Yeah, he is. And, again, I mean, this is a guy that played independent ball before he signed with the Yankees. Kind of worked his way up through the Yankee organization. And then actually he was traded for Brandon McCarthy. McCarthy would go on and have a pretty good year and then sign a free agent deal with the Dodgers over last offseason.
Pitch is there for a strike. 2 down, nobody on. Manny Machado's taken an over in 2 at-bats. He has flied out and been called out on strikes. That one down the line the other way is foul.
Now he's going to try to get 3 real quick outs and then go in and say, by the way, boys, I haven't won a game in 16 straight starts. Get me 3 runs. Please.
0-2 delivery on the way, the other way foul. It's been a long time. You go back to July 2, 2014 when Nuno was with the Yankees. Last time he had a win. Since then 0-8, ERA 4.0 in starts. That's going to go to the gap. Manny Machado drives it all the way to the wall. Jackson coming over to get it. Manny on his way to second base. Stand up double. 7-game hit streak, and more importantly for the Orioles, a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, bullet up the gap. And so that goes with the 24 home runs, and a couple of years ago 51 doubles. So now a lot of the doubles carry out of the ballpark because of the added strength and maturity.
And warm-up action again.
Ype is getting loose again. Certainly beautiful night to pitch. Hardly any humidity. I would imagine probably somewhere in the low 70s to start this game.
1 for 3 runners in scoring position tonight for the Orioles. Parra gets the chance. 2 down. Manny Machado on at second base. Outfield shaded to left. And the infield straight up defensively. Nuno's delivery on the way. Left-handers coming in all games pitched by Nuno over 39 innings, hitting only 111 against him. Right-handers 313, 4 home runs prior to the one hit by Jones in the first inning. 1-1 delivery on the way, and that ball to right field stays up. Cruz back and makes the catch. He tagged it, but Nelson Cruz was positioned. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a base runner left on second base. That one was also barreled up. The glove just long enough to haul it in. And the night that young man will never forget. And take a look at the beautiful sunset here in Seattle. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer, 2-1 ball game. Orioles are on top. Wei and Chen, a walk and a strikeout. Nuno, no walks. 5 strikeouts in the ball game. And a big swing by Jesus Montero in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Montero grounded out his first time up. Trumbo and Zunino, the 7, 8, 9 hitters in the lineup. Mariners have won 5 of their last 7 ball games with their offense providing the charge. Still a minus 58 coming into the game in run differential. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chen's pitch will be fouled off at the plate.
Yeah, would love to have some easy outs. You can see the pitch count, and that's through 4 at 70. The most efficient of the Orioles starters as far as throwing pitches, a little over 15. There's his pitching coach, Professor Dave Wallace.
Chen 1 and 2. Down to 3rd and foul. Typical kind of ball game for Wei-in this year. Close games, not a lot of runs. Showed you the 9th fewest runs per start. It's what he's had for support. But he is on the road. It's been outstanding for the Orioles. 2-2 mark with a 3.14 ERA. And he gets him on a swinging strike.
Yeah, 95. Never know if the gun may be up a little bit, but perfect pitch. Great life. Look where the target is. Well, that's the kind of communication you want between your pitcher and your catcher. And again, the ability to get ahead, so you get Montero to try to cover the outside corner. Couldn't do it.
Mark Trumbo. Trumbo flied out to center field his first time up. And will take the pitch up high for a ball.
Well, always a power threat.
3 home runs last 29 ball games for him to go with a 326 average over that span. That is in there for a strike. He thought it might have been away. Again, Chen's been able to locate that ball on that outside corner against these right-handers. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Trumbo, and up and away.
Yeah, tremendous power of the opposite field, and of course the Orioles know him from his time with the Angels, where went back-to-back years, 29, 32, 34, and then get traded to the Diamondbacks and never could quite get it together.
2-1 delivery on the way, out of reach for that. Goes to short to Hardy. 2 down in the bottom of the 5th. Well, get ready to show your orange from head to toe Friday, August 21. First 20,000 fans, 15 and over that night at the Twins game, are going to get the pair of the Orioles high socks. You can make a fashion statement, enjoy a great night out of Orioles baseball. Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD for tickets. High socks night.
Yeah, wear them with a nice pair of Bermuda, and then the Oriole, really, and you have to put the shirt on, and then the floppy hat. And
stick a gnome on top of your head.
Right. What else?
What more could there be to life? Don't answer that. 1-0 count on Zunino.
Got me
and
thinking.
Late on a fastball. Couldn't come up with any answer.
No, I couldn't.
I know.
Well,
so good.
You go any farther, kind of northwest, we'll be in Alaska, but it's a long way from it.
It's 1-1 delivery on the way, and a swing and a miss. That's right where he's been living, and nicely so.
Yeah, I talked to Dennis Eckersley, who's doing the Red Sox down in Miami. I said we couldn't be any farther away and still be in continental United States.
1-2 right there. So Chen just carves him up here. A couple of strikeouts, 1-2-3 inning for him. 6 in a row set down. Our Honda do-ups: Adam Jones, Chris Davis, and Matt Wieters.
Speeds, throw a lot of strikes. Again, really the home run. I mean, Adam Jones was his nemesis tonight. Home run solo, and then the double hit by Davis. And now your AT&T call to the pen. AT&T, proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles. AT&T mobilizing your world. Again, Michael Guaipe comes on. And you can see fastball, slider, young pitcher. Chance been up 3 times back and forth to the minor leagues. You know, the other thing, Gary, we talked about last year, that the one thing that hasn't been a constant, and Rick Waits was talking about it, so many guys not here, was their bullpen last year was the best in baseball. I mean, ERA about 2.69. It's a little bit under 4 runs because of what went over the weekend. So, again, maybe you have a chance, and that could be the fact that they're under 500. A little bit better chance of beating them if you do get to the pen. We'll see.
So Guaipe on in relief, called up this season and has done a good job for them out of the pen. Debuted against the Yankees on 1st of June. He had a good solid 2 1/3 innings in that ball game. He'd gone 0-4 at AAA in 34 games, so he's been working out of the bullpen, the minor leagues as well as here. Adam Jones will be the first batter to face him, and the pitch is in there for a strike. Adam a 2 for 2, and he scored both runs, picking up the home run in the first inning, a double in the 4th inning, scored on the Chris Davis RBI single. Guaipe's delivery to Jones, and it'll be a breaking ball outside.
Yeah, take a look, and you could see a little cut fastball, kind of backdoor, and Adam waffled it. It disappeared into the dusk here over the center field fence.
Jammed him on that one, goes to short. Marte will make the throw. 1 down, top half of the 6th inning. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. 1 down in the 6th. 2-1 lead for the Orioles. 2-5-0 for the O's. 1-3-0 for Seattle. Chris Davis, an RBI base hit in the 4th inning, extending his hit streak to 8 games. 3 for 12 against the Mariners. Back to center, turning around, and goodbye home run. Chris Davis does it again. The red hot bat of the Orioles home run leader. Another RBI, and Crush is crushing, and it's 3-1.
Well, he hits line drives over the fence like most guys single to center. I mean, it's just a crisp line drive. I mean, he did it. One of his extra base hits in Anaheim was a ball that couldn't get up, high ball in right field. Of course, he did hit the moon shot yesterday. But I mean, it's just a nice little crisp line drive. It ends up going about 415 feet in really, it seemed like a millisecond.
So strong. Chris Davis getting the sunflower seed welcome. So Davis picks up his 30th home run of the season. Ties him with Pujols, Teixeira, and J.R. Martinez for 4th place in homers. 2 RBI ball game too.
Yeah, take a look. And he talked about, hey, okay, I'm just going to try to make easy swings, and he just goes out. I mean, just lifts, and as it turns out, it's a line drive. Oh, nice. Nope. Sorry. Ball, hat, see ya. Goodbye.
Almost, but 0 for 2.
Well, his hat made a nice catch.
His hat made a real fine catch. And our Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, Jackie Aruzio from Laurel. That's $500 and a couple of home runs for you. And a swing and a miss. Matt Wieters, a base hit, and he is struck out.
Yeah, 103, averages 77 on your hit speed.
Davis really pounding it out and upping that average to over 250. That will be a bouncer.
And right away,
2 homers tonight.
Yeah, Guaipe says, well, okay, 94, maybe it doesn't work, so I'll go throw some other stuff. And he's got him. I mean, he's got a curveball and a changeup to go with it.
Guaipe has given up 3 home runs in just 7 2/3 innings. And Wieters will foul that one back. So the count goes to 2-2. The Orioles up their lead to 3-1 on their 6th hit of the ball game. Chen cruising along. for him getting enormous amounts of run support when there are 3 up there, and we're only in the 6th inning. He has really dominated the Seattle offense so far. 2-2 pitch. White's delivery is going to miss. He thought he had a strike there and didn't get the call. There are the home run hitters. Jones batting 3rd, Davis batting 4th. Jones has got 18. Davis has got 30. And they have combined for the 3 RBIs. 3-2 delivery and walked him. So that is the first walk the Orioles have picked up in the ball game. Comes after that home run. Not unusual to see that happen. And you got another power bat at the plate after you've just given one up. So a runner on, 1 out.
Yeah, I mean, last year you had Farquhar, who's been traded, Medina. You had all these guys that came out of the bullpen, and I mean, just kind of slammed the door. So a little different bullpen for the Mariners this year.
Here's Jonathan Scope. Goes after that first pitch.
Yeah, there's another home run swing, and Zunino's coming right out. And it's not that you can't use 94, it just can't be in that center cut of the plate, because that's what you're hitting off of.
Mariners bullpen has now surrendered 36 home runs. That is the 8th highest in the American League. It's right in the middle of the pack. Lloyd McClendon's pen, Jim's talking about, 11th in ERA. Breaking ball, that will miss outside. Zunino able to hang on to that and hold the runner at first base. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Scope. Jonathan trying to extend his 8-game hit streak. More importantly, get Matt Wieters moved around here in the 6th inning. White's delivery, and that'll be towards short, not hit hard. Marte, Cano has got that cannon, and they turn the double play. But the Orioles have got a run on a hit, no errors, nobody left on base. Ooh, yeah, he got a hold of this one. Davis blasts one, the line drive. Had no hang time. The Orioles lead 3-1. And by 5-Hour Energy Shots, have you tried great tasting 5-Hour Energy lately? Sunset time, the Impressionists would be proud. Beautiful night here in Seattle. And for the Orioles, a 3-1 lead. Chen giving up just the 1 run, a homer by Gutierrez, leading off the 2nd inning. Otherwise, he has mastered the lineup so far.
Yeah, 3rd time through as they start the 6th. Marte with will lead it off, the only base on balls. And the 22-year-old shortstop.
Marte will go after the first pitch, pop it back, and there'll be no play. For Chen, going through the lineup this year, 246 the first time, 289 the second, and then drops down to 244 the 3rd time through. So we'll see if that holds.
Yeah.
He had some very high numbers coming into this game after the All-Star break. Opponent batting average had jumped way up. ERA had jumped up. And he's gotten it done here. And that one way over the screen as well. Different attempt. And the count goes to 2 strikes.
Oh, there you go. To back 0-2 count. And of course, weighing why are those numbers low? Veteran pitchers that can make their pitches realize they don't have to throw a strike. That's what he tries to do there.
93 upstairs out of the strike zone.
Yeah, if you're going to pitch 0-2, now again the intention there was, yeah, you go out of the zone, but you go in, and now they're coming way in.
And that ball will go to right. Parra was not deep, has to move very little, and we'll put it away. And Marte retired, 1 away here in the 6th inning. Leadoff man's been on twice, once on the home run. Chen trying to get that number up a little bit. 65% of leadoff batters retired coming into the ball game. He'd like to be up there at 70, as he was last year.
Yeah, so 2 runs down. You got a guy that came in hitting 307 against Chen, doubled the first time, just missed a home run. They give him the bunt, and guess who's on deck? Nelson Cruz. So only the 6th, but in this type of game, pretty critical at bat.
Double popped out. Kyle Seager. He wanted to lay a bunt down, as Jim said.
Yeah.
3rd or 1st is wide open. 0-1 delivery on the way. He'll go to 2nd. Jonathan Scope rights himself and gets the out, and there are 2 down. And that would bring up Nelson Cruz with the bases empty the way Chen wants it. His manager saying in our worth repeating page, from an offensive standpoint, I don't even want to think about it. He's brought so much to the table. He's made guys better by giving them more opportunities.
Yeah, not only Lloyd, but the whole article talks about, and the Orioles know this because of, it's again the on-field presence. Buck Showalter always talks about a presence in the lineup, and then again with the known Nelson, how good he's in the locker room, and he's just a good guy that happens to play a game offensively at a very high level.
Going for the long ball right there. He's continued his hit streak to 20 games, career high. Did it with a single in the 4th inning. Chen's delivery to him and another big cut. And again did not connect.
Yeah, so last time he got him 2 strikes, he just bounced a single to right field. Of course, he also, he wants to get on because he knows who's on deck in a 2-run ball game. So where's Wayne going to go? And you could see right here, a curveball, bounce it. And he did.
Yep.
But maybe a little bit, maybe a touch closer to the strike zone. But you know what the intent is. And talk about the communication of it, at least getting your pitcher to understand what you're trying to do.
Universal language. Caleb Joseph banging his glove on the plate. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and Cruz will go to short. J.J. Hardy. And that will do it. A 1-2-3 inning. That's 9 in a row set down since the Cruz single back in the 4th inning. Orioles up 3-1. Baseball. He has a blog called Our Game, and on it right now is this. This book is called The Crank. It is a book from 1886 that is 2 inches by 2.5 inches on blood parchment bound in the skin of a baseball, and it has, well, the language and what it means, the humorous glossary of baseball terms. It is the rarest baseball book going. There are 2. One in the New York Public Library, one at the Hall of Fame, 3 other copies known to exist, all in institutions. The author is Thomas William Lawson, who went on to be a Wall Street tycoon of some measure. I had never heard of that book before, but I guarantee you the next time in New York City, I'm going up to the New York Public Library to see if I can look at it in their rare book collection. And some of the things in it are so funny. The terms that were used back in the 1880s, that's what the book is about. And like well, there's one, we call it a pop fly. They called it a pot fly after the bug that circles a steaming kettle of food was a pot fly. And the pitch will be taken. Stuff like that's in the book. So wonderful. Read the go and see John Thorne online. Our Game is the name of the blog.
So multi-year contract, agent, free agency, probably not in that book.
Not in that book.
No.
Not likely to find that. No. 2 ball, 1 strike count. I want to know how you can read it. 2 by 2.5 inches. It's a matchbook size. Grounded down to third by Lake. Seager will get it there in time. Lake is retired. 1 away. We're in the 7th inning.
Well, Guaipe, he throws the home run to Chris Davis, and now all of a sudden the Orioles say, well, we want to hit his breaking ball. So what does Scope do? He bounces into a double play. Lake hits one on a 1-1 count. It looks to me that curveball might be his best pitch. He might not think, but you couple that with the fastball and the hook. But I don't know how you can keep swinging at it until he hangs one.
J.J. Hardy. Ball game still in question here with the power that both these teams have. There could be more runs added, even though the pitches have pretty much dominated. Hardy's 0 for 2. J.J. has ground out a couple of times for Hardy this month. Off to a start just over the Mendoza line at 200 at the moment. 1-0 delivery check swing he went around on.
Well, that shoulder injury, really, he signs a 3-year deal, a lot of money. Came to spring training. The high hope is of getting off to a good start, because when he's healthy, not only does he hit, he usually hits 260, 270, but with home runs. Well, the 9 home runs disappointed him last year, but he had back problems.
And still does.
Yeah. So he's always fighting something, but certainly not happy with where his numbers are.
1-2 delivery. Guaipe's pitch will come inside and back him off the plate at 79. 2 ball, 2 strike count. He's going to turn 25 tomorrow. Guaipe is. He's from Barcelona, Venezuela. Started in the minors at a young age back in 2007. Non-drafted free agent.
Yeah, they let him start in the minor league, so he has a little bit of feel for pitching.
That'll go to center, and Adam ball right there is Jackson. 2 down. Follow the Orioles wherever you are with MLB.com at bat, #1 app for live baseball, up to the moment, at any moment. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, and more. MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Look, Showalter's ball club, a couple of games above 500. The Orioles have gone win, lose, win, lose, win, lose of late. You'd like to put together a little streak here.
Yeah, meanwhile, Toronto's won 8 in a row. So, again, you can't worry about that, but you've got to be more consistent. You got.
It's time to make up ground.
Well, 52 more to go.
Yeah. Just running out of time. Guaipe with 2 down, nobody on. 1-0 count. Caleb, 2 fly ball outs. Couple hit pretty hard. That one's going to miss a little bit inside. He'll get ahead on the count here. 2-0. There's Wei and Chen. Has allowed only a run on 3 hits and has been outstanding here, and yet another start. And that will catch the inside corner. That's where he wanted to go in the pitch before that.
Yeah, you could see how comfortable he is with that curveball.
Lepe, 2-1. Caleb will go after it and foul it back. That'll even the count up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 20,839. 839 the announced attendance here at Safeco Field on this beautiful night. Roof open as it's been most of the summer. They have had an extraordinarily warm, dry summer here in Seattle. We may get temperatures up near 90 tomorrow, which is really unusual. 2-2 delivery on the way. Joseph will take it up and the count goes full.
Yeah, I think he could take that pitch with impunity because he's been catching it all night and very few of those have been called. Never ever know though. Well, if the pattern is right, this ought to be a curveball, some kind of breaking ball to a fastball hitter.
Joseph will not be able to catch up with it. So 1, 2, 3 innings, 7th inning stretch time here at Safeco Field in Seattle. Orioles, after a win in Game 1, have the lead. And so is Jake Arrieta, the ace of their pitching staff from the Chicago Tribune. Dodgers' Don Mattingly increasingly willing to sit Yasiel Puig, who is not hitting, from the LA Times. Even-keeled Nationals admit they have big road trip ahead. Well, so far so good. 7th inning, 7-0 Nationals over the Dodgers. The Mets have already won today over Colorado 4-2. A young Orioles fan who's really into the game, has got a scorebook, got the pen. Oh, I love that. That'll keep you so involved in a game, whether you're at home or at the ballpark, and you learn so much more about baseball because you're focused on it.
Well, that, and it's a great way to learn math. And
yep. Ground ball is going to go to short. Hardy there. Robinson Cano, 1 pitch and an out.
Yeah, they. I think years ago Donruss did a whole thing where they were geography, where you're from, follow a player, see what country they come from. If they're from Latin America, what is that country? What's it known for? What's its manufacturing, batting averages, ERA. Great way to kind of, especially if you're a baseball fan, stay abreast. Amazing how many kids just know everything about players now.
And a lot of teachers still use that in the classroom. How you figure out batting averages and all the new numbers that are around. Teach the kids how to do it. It's not so much learning that. It's, as you said, doing the math part of it. Pitch is taken for a strike. Cano's got an 0 for 3 in the ball game. First out of the bottom of the 7th inning. Gutierrez the home run, 2nd inning, and struck out his 2nd time up.
Yeah, home run in, strikeout, down and away. Curveball right here.
He'll go after it off the end of the bat and foul.
Yeah, he's had a nice curveball because he's been able to keep it. When you throw your curveball, there's a get me over, and you might think a guy's looking for something else, and then there's the curveball that starts in the strike zone. So it's a strike to ball, and he's been very good at that. And when you keep getting ahead of people, which he's been able to do, it's a little bit easier to use that pitch.
0-2 count on Gutierrez. And that one, a broken bat, fly ball that'll end up in the seats the other way.
Yeah, that time 0-2, they really did get in on his fist.
Wei Chen, the last time he worked really deep in a game was against Washington back on July 12. He went 8 innings. Chen has had a win, 2 losses, 2 no decisions in his last 5 starts. He's coming off games where he pitched 5 innings, 3 1/3 innings, 5 1/3 innings, and 6 1/3 innings. And here he is in the 7th inning of this ball game with a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, you look at all those games, Gary, and what do they have in common? Other than maybe he didn't pitch as long? Lack of run support.
Not exactly an explosion of runs here, but so far enough.
Yeah.
Pitch will be taken up. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Gutierrez to be followed by Jackson. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning, game 1 here at Safeco. We'll be right back with you tomorrow night. Chris Tillman scheduled to start for the Orioles after the long off delay with that bad ankle, and he gets him swinging strike.
Yeah, that's a kind of a Vidal Nuno late break in. I don't know if it was a slider or whatever, but it just, you can see where the glove is, and boy, one thing about Caleb Joseph, he does present a nice target. Great view right here, right on the corner. Late breaking ball that fools Franklin Gutierrez for the 2nd out.
2 down. Jackson will take the pitch for a strike. 11 in a row, retired by Wei Chen. Last hit, 4th inning, a cruise single. The 0-1 delivery. Ground ball slowly hit Manny Machado. The bare-hand attempt. Throw. Oh, yeah. Got him. Machado makes the perfect play on Jackson, who's got some pretty good speed. So that's 12 in a row, set down by Chen. A little help from the D. Manny Machado, a whip arm right there, and had him by a lot. Against Taijuan Walker. Our coverage on MASN 2, 9:30 O's Extra, presented by Jeep, followed by game coverage at 10. All the access you need right here on MASN.
Yeah, so Chris Tillman, the rolled ankle, so he'll come back. He has won, going from 2-7 to 8-7. And then Taijuan Walker, we saw him in May. Again, always been one of their highly touted youngsters.
Silo shot by Manny Machado right at the plate. Zunino. He's got it, a pitch in and out here in the top of the 8th inning. Manny with a 1-for-4. And the hitters going after first pitches on both sides.
Yeah, well, Guaipe, his pitch is the breaking ball, and he's got a good one.
Guaipe coming on in the 6th inning, gave up the home run to Davis. The starter, Nuno, 2 runs, 5 hits over 5 innings. Home run by Jones, RBI single by Davis off him.
Yeah, Rob Rasmussen, and again a guy acquired in the trade, so he comes over. And he's getting loose.
Parra pitches up high to him. Parra's 0 for 3. Making the start in right field. Orioles, with the 2 more homers hit in this game, now have had 2 or more home runs in 10 of the last 13 ball games. That ball off the end of the bat to center. Jackson. 2 down in the 8th.
Yeah, you would imagine Rasmussen is on. He's getting up for Chris Davis in case Adam Jones will come to the plate, gets on.
Adams had a big night. The 18th home run, first inning, double scored in the 4th inning. So 2 runs scored and an RBI tonight for Adam. He stands in with 2 down, nobody on. That'll pick the average up for Adam here in August. He came in hitting only 147. But you don't need many hits because you haven't had a lot of at-bats to get that average up there.
Yeah, he came in, actually started the game under 280. When's the last time? And, had to hit 400 the month of April. Got off to a great start.
0-1 pitch to him. Jones will take it. It's down low for a ball.
Well, Michael Guipe has made a nice adjustment because the fastball got hit a little bit. So curveballs and changeups.
Jones were grounded to third base, blocked. Seager up, and a great stretch made at first to get the Montero. So a 1-2-3 inning here in the 8th for Guipe. That's what you do at third. That's why it's called the hot corner. You get a second chance if you can knock it down. And he got him by a half step. 1-2-3 inning. Union Tribune. After falling to 8 games below 500, the team, Padres, officially 6 feet below the ground. You can now say with certainty better luck next year, and oh boy are the Padres going to need it. To the Padres' credit, the season has been not been boring. Train wreck, sure, but definitely not dull. When a collection of names this big, Matt Kemp, Justin Upton, James Shields, Craig Kimbrell, performs this poorly, it is too shocking to let anybody sleep.
You can also throw Will Myers. I mean, Kimbrell does have 31 saves, so it's not like he's having a horrendous year.
No.
But the other guys, a lot of money, too. And
the manager gone.
Yeah, decimated the minor leagues. Yeah. Kind of was like, let's put it all on red and let the wheel just turn around. And boy, it kind of came out black, didn't it?
Yikes. Padres have had a very long struggle. Jesus Martero leading it off here. The Orioles with the 3-1 lead. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Bottom third of the order again. 12 in a row have been retired by Wei and Chen. Montero is grounded out and struck out. Orioles lead in the series 2-1. 3 games played. In Baltimore, the Orioles won the games 9-4 and 5-4. Orioles lost the middle game of that set at Camden Yards 4-2. 2-2 delivery, and did he go? Nope. Corey Blazer, first base.
Yeah. Aaron Goldsmith, who does some of their TV and radio, he said, how does Chen, 92, 93, even though he's hit 94, be able to get guys out? I said, because, again, he's very deceptive. Very easy delivery.
3-2 delivered. He blows it by him for 5 strikeouts.
And again, you got to understand the location. You're trying to, you got to protect all corners of the plate. That's why league average is about 176 with 2 strikes. You just can't quite get to it. You can see the loop in the bat. You're trying to get the bat head to the ball. So again, if the angle of the bat can't get to that ball up and in, and he can pitch there with the best of them. You can see right now 5 from the season high. But perfect night with a crisp air to pitch.
And that pitch will be up high. 1 down, nobody on. Trumbo in the 8th. Trumbo is flied out, struck out. Chen after another 1-2-3 inning, not turn the order over. 1-0 pitch on the way, and that'll be foul back.
Yeah, Mark, the last time swung at a breaking ball that was well out of the zone and just kind of hit a routine, like they're all routine ground balls to J.J. Hardy at shortstop.
Chen with a chance to win it here, but as we said, only 3.8 runs scored per start. He hasn't even gotten that here, just 3. And a bouncer, and he will have to go through at least Cruz one more time, and maybe Cano. 2 ball, 1 strike count, 1 down. Trumbo trying to get on here. He's 0 for 7 lifetime off Chen. And again, he got fisted.
See, again, if you know your pitcher, and Caleb Joseph certainly does, they again, even though he was behind because of the command, because he's better to his glove side up and into righties, that's where they went.
Set up, low and away. Into the screen.
A little better swing out over the plate.
So the pitch count up there at 108 for Chen. He's gone over 100 a half dozen times this season in the starts made. 2-2 delivery, and that will miss up high. So 3-2. He's walked only 1, and that was back in the 3rd inning when Marte got a base on ball, and then was picked off on a 1-3-6 putout. 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, you still pitch to the scoreboard, and the scoreboard says you got a 2-1 run or 2-run lead. So, got Zunino on deck. I can't imagine the leash is going to be very long because he's pitched so well.
And the 3-2 delivery just missed, but he did. So it will be his 2nd walk. That'll break the string of 13 in a row retired, and that will be it for Wei and Chen. The Oriole closer, Zach Britton, is up in the bullpen. So the Orioles starter really got it done. Pat on the back from all of the infielders and his battery mate. Chen will leave the game having worked a very solid 7 1/3 innings with a chance to be the winning pitcher.
really outstanding performance. Again, be able to make some outstanding pitches. Only the home run by Franklin Gutierrez, second inning. A couple of walks, and again, great command of all his pitches tonight. So he will leave with a chance to win. Those are the numbers, so you can see maybe a few more breaking balls, a few less change-ups. It's time for a little relief for your car too. Visit Jiffy Lube for regular oil changes and help prevent damage and wear to your engine. Jiffy Lube. Drive in today. So the Orioles' best, it's going to be a multiple out or inning save, and Zach Britton did that in Oakland, the only time he's pitched on this road trip.
Zunino has never faced him. Runner at first base. He'll take the pitch for a strike.
So mostly sinkers, mostly fastballs, 93 to 97, and great numbers. Only the one blown save. Doesn't walk a lot of guys. Doesn't throw a lot of home runs. Righties have a better chance than the lefties that are under 100.
Zunino with a runner at first, one down. Will take the pitch. It gets away. Runner hesitated, so can't go. Would have had time to make it, but once you hesitate, as Trumbo did, you're stuck.
And the other thing is, he's not a track star. So again, when you're 2 runs down, the last thing, if you're Mark Trumbo, because he doesn't know where this ball is, he doesn't really know how far it is. The last thing he wants to do is take the bat out of Zunino's hand, so he stays put.
Zunino to be followed by Marte at the top of the order. Britton 1-1. And turns that one down and away.
And of course, what that does, and I'm not saying he should have gone because he doesn't have great speed, is it keeps the double play in order. Zach Britton would love to, who he throws around 13, a little bit between 13 and 14 pitches an inning.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Double play depth in the infield. Delivery and another one. There's that sinker, and it got him, and there are 2 down.
When you're throwing 98 miles per hour with that kind of movement, you've already made up your mind. We mentioned Zunino. I mean, he already strikes out this for 118th time. But again, he just saw the 1 strike pitch, so he starts it early and almost chases a ground ball. Just barely gets over the plate.
So 2 away. Britton again will be working on a longer than 1 inning save opportunity. Here is Marte. Marte goes after it, fights it off. This has been a tough ballpark over the years for Britton. He has pitched here 4 times previously, once as a starter. 8 innings, 5 runs, 10 hits. He is 2 for 2 in save opportunities here in this ballpark. ERA is 6.75 here. 0-1 count. Marte waiting, runner off first, and he'll take the pitch down low for a ball, 1-1. This is exactly what Buck Showalter said before the All-Star break he was going to do. He said, I will use Zach Britton for saves in more than 1 inning situations.
And he's certainly on board with that. We saw that in Oakland.
He kind of likes doing it. 1-1 delivery on the way, and that's up and in.
Yeah, what you want, and we saw it in the extra inning game. It's a game down in Wednesday game in Oakland. Chris Davis hit a grand slam home run. He's so efficient that he's easily able to get more than 3 outs. I mean, what Seattle does, and you know this, they'd like to get the pitch count up, so maybe he'll be least effective.
2-1 delivery on the way. That's how you do it. Foul some pitches off if you can. Zach ranks 3rd in the American League with 27 saves. He's converted a career high 23 consecutive going back to May 3. Of course, he leads all the relievers in ground ball outs.
Yeah. I mean, very rarely do they anybody put a ball in the air.
Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and that's one of the rare ones. It'll be a little bloop off the end of the bat to left field. And that will put a runner on as Marte gets the base hit.
Yeah, it looked like, I thought again was a bloop, and then I think he actually chopped that ball.
Did he?
Yeah, I mean, watch this. I mean, straight down, it looked like, again, it sometimes with the lights and our angle, but that's just the Baltimore chop into left field for a single.
What a hop that thing took.
Well, you get an idea of how fast the infield, or how hard the infield is.
So there are 2 on. Now you got Kyle Seager coming up with Cruz waiting on deck. Seager's had a double. He is 1 for 3. Seager's 3 for 9 with a home run off Zach Britton, and will take the pitch for a strike. So Seattle trying to mount the rally here in the 8th inning. They are down by 2. That's their 4th base hit of the game.
Wei and Jen said that's why I'm a fly ball hitter. I don't want those high hoppers. I want hoppers into the outfield.
0-1 the count. With 2 down, the infield back. Britton's delivery. Little chopper foul outside of first base this time, and it goes to 2 strikes.
Yeah, you could see at 99. You could see Seager trying to cheat a little bit. Kind of amazing how fields differ from city to city. When the Pirates had spring training in Fort Myers, their infield was exactly the way it was in Ford Fields, and you could hit those balls all the time. 1 hoppers to your left fielder, because they wanted it to be exactly the way it was going to be when the season started in Pittsburgh.
Britton looking for the out right here in a K. 0-2 delivery, and he got it. Went back to 86 miles an hour, and Ned Seager way out in front. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 are left on base. 9th inning coming. Orioles up 3-1. Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. Orioles trying to bring this one in as they have the 3-1 lead going to the 9th inning here at Safeco.
So the Mariners, they trade Mark Lowe to the Toronto Blue Jays. Yes, you're probably sitting at home. Who didn't they get? Well, they got Mark Lowe among other players. Rasmussen comes over, and again, a guy that was a number 2 second round draft choice. Again with the Marlins, and then acquired by the Dodgers and the Phillies, by Toronto, and now with Seattle, starter through the minor leagues.
Rasmussen will work in the top of the 9th inning to Davis. Wieters and Scope due up for the Orioles. 30th home run his last time up. RBI single before that. 2 for 3 in the ball game. And Chris will take it for a ball.
Yeah, again, very simple swing. Already with an RBI single, and it's just a bullet into the stands.
1-0 delivery by the lefty. Swing and a miss. Wei Chen leaves with a run on 3 hits, 7 1/3. What a performance. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts in the ball game, and a chance to win his 6th.
Yeah, Rob Rasmussen, he pitched in that 11th inning. All 6 batters faced him.
Strike there to Davis.
And then Texas would go on in a 3-3 ball game, would end up scoring 8 runs.
One ball, 2 strike count. Davis had to reach for that into the shift. And is retired. Ground ball out here to start the 9th inning. That's a 5-3 putout. Sager, the third baseman, had moved over to play second.
Yes, if we were keeping and you talked about scoring when I used to pitch, you used to always keep the chart. You know, where the balls were hit, ball strikes, direction of the ball. So you'd actually, probably on your chart, you would have put still 4-3 because of the position of the ball, even though it was the third baseman. So we didn't have to worry about the dramatic shifts that they
or the
put
overall
on now. Yeah.
statistics for putouts and assists.
Well, pitching coaches, Bobby Dickerson, infield, coach positioners, whatever, they still talk. I mean, Rick Waits, the pitching coach with the Mariners, was saying it doesn't really matter sometimes. You throw 96 miles per hour down and away, guys are still trying to pull them, and they do. And of course, the advanced scouts, the sprayed charts, they call them, they give you an indication. And of course, it's not an always, it's just most of the time.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Wieters a walk, a single, and he has struck out. Each team has been able to pick up very few walks. Chen gave up a couple. Only one has been surrendered by the 3 Seattle pitchers. 2-1 on Wieters. There is Wei-Yin Chen. He'll wait and see if he gets the victory in this ball game. And that will cut back inside and miss.
Well,
3 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, you could see why they gave up Mark Lowe, and again, Wei-Yin Chen, he speaks pretty good English now. 4th year with the Orioles.
Wieters goes to the gap. He's going to pick up a base hit. He'll make the turn. Jackson up with it will hold him to a single. So Wieters has a 2-hit ball game. He is 2 for 3. He'd already extended his hit streak to 5 games and adds another hit during that 5-game streak. So the Orioles get a runner on here in the 9th inning. That's hit number 7. Nuno, 2 runs, 5 hits. Wepe gave up a run on a hit. The home run surrendered to Chris Davis in the 3 good innings that he worked out of the bullpen. Now Jonathan Schoop. Schoop trying to extend his hit streak to 9 games. He is 0 for 3 in the ball game. Oh, 1 delivery, and that's going to go to second. 1 relay not in time. Heads up base running. Cano got that one over there in a hurry, but Wieters is going back to the bag.
Yeah, you're only going 1 base at a time, so quickly recognized. And then Cano thought it was like turning a double play. The ball hardly touched the glove.
The Rasmussen gets a couple outs. And here's Junior Lake. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. Wieters at first, 9th inning. And a foul ball. Ouch.
Yeah, he's looking fastball, and then the home plate umpire, Chris Guccione, that had to hurt.
Zunino got that bare hand out there. Catcher's nightmare. Have one fouled off your bare hand. That's why you keep it behind you. And that's right where it hit him.
He had it behind the leg, and it kind of went in underneath the leg and said, "I am seeking some knuckles."
Fingernails colored so the pitchers can see the signs. Pitch is swung on and missed.
Yeah, good slider there.
0-2.
They aired it out on the first fastball at 94, and then you recognize that swing, and then this is what they've done.
0-2 count. Rasmussen will look over to Wieters at first base, and the off-speed delivery will get him. So strike him out, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Buckle him up, sports fans. Cruz, Cano, Gutierrez, bottom of the 9th. play defensively for Lake in left field.
Yeah, so Britton again. The amazing thing is, they come out here for 9 games. Pitches in the 3rd game in Oakland and doesn't pitch in any of the games in Anaheim, and 2 1/3 innings to get the save in an extra inning game, and now he's going to have to pitch multiple innings. Certainly capable of it, but one of those games where to this point you've done everything right. Can you get 3 more outs before they get 2 runs?
2 1/3 innings, his high this year in innings pitched. What a challenge he faces with Nelson Cruz leading it off bottom of the 9th inning. Nelson a base hit, 20-game hit streak. He is 1 for 3 in the ball game. Zach Britton came on to get the 2 outs in the 8th inning, gave up a hit. Cruz will take the first pitch, and it is in there for a strike. So Nelson Cruz and then Cano, 2 for 5 for Cruz, lifetime off Zach. Big .390 average against left-handers overall. 1-0 delivery, go to short. Oh, bobble by Hardy. Cruz still got a shot at him. Unbelievable. J.J. Hardy commits an error.
Well, second of the year, you never see this. I mean, the ball was hit hard, but I hate to say it because there is no such thing as a routine, but the short hop, again, because it's hit so hard, he just could not choose his really the hop he wanted. And look at the short hop right there. It comes up, doesn't quite get in the glove, and then it goes off to the left. Well, the Mariners get exactly what they want. So again, again, if you're Zach Britton, and he's been through this, it doesn't matter whether it's 2-inning save or whatever. It doesn't really matter that Cruz at first, because that's only the 2nd run. You need to concentrate on the guys that are coming to the plate.
Cano is 6 for 14 off Zach Britton. First error we've had in the game. Britton will get it in there for a strike at 97 miles an hour. So the Mariners making it interesting, getting the leadoff man on here in the 9th inning. Only the 3rd time in the game they've had the leadoff man on. That includes the Gutierrez leadoff homer in the 2nd inning. 0-1 pitch on the way. 2 starters waiting to see whether the game stays to them. With Wei and Chen a chance to win it, Nuno could be the loser.
And you talked about the ground ball to fly ball ratio off of Zach Britton, 86 on the ground, 10 in the air.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Short lead at first. And a high chopper to short. Redemption. There's one. Got the double play.
Well, so make it 87 ground balls. This time an easy hop, if there is anything. And right here, just kind of, you could see him get his footwork set, and then the rocket arm. I mean, just, it's like a 98-mile-per-hour fastball from Scope to Chris Davis.
He's talking, smiling at Chris over there. I think Chris said something about how hard he threw it. He took his hand out of his glove, like, yikes.
Well, it's not only that, it's the accuracy.
Right on the money.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got one of those bazookas.
That'll bring up Gutierrez. So now 2 down, bases are empty. And the Orioles are not away from a W. Pitch will be taken down low for a ball. Zach trying to extend his consecutive save streak at 23 right now.
Well, those critical times for pitchers when somebody makes an error behind you. And it didn't bother Zach Britton as he turned the ground ball into a double play. And boy, does he got good stuff here.
After his 28th save overall.
97, 98 all night long. Still with great movement.
Britton 3rd in the league in saves. Glenn Perkins with 30. Red Boxberger's got 28. And now Britton looking for 28. Lays that one in there for a strike. Showing some effectiveness as he throttles back on pitches.
Well, it started last inning when he struck out Kyle Seager on a 2-strike slider. So if you're throwing 97, 98, that's what you're hitting off of. So the breaking ball, even that more effective.
1 ball, 2-strike count. Britton's delivery swung on and foul back. So if it stays, Chen will get that win, be 6-6. Nuno will go 0-2. And Britton will have his 28th save, but you got to get that 27th out. Chen, the highly interested spectator in the Oriole dugout. Britton ready on the 1-2 delivery again, and the off-speed pitch is just nicked foul. Almost hit that one on the backswing.
Yeah, another breaking ball, and just trying to make contact. Hoping to get on to be the second run, because that's what the Mariners, down to their last out, don't want to strike out. Somehow maybe can get a little bit lucky.
Again, third time on the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's outside.
Yeah, pitch count, and we told you how efficient he can be. So he comes in, and that's only at 22. So he averages almost 14 per inning. And that's a very low amount of pitches, and of course the sinker has a lot to do with that.
2 balls, 2 strike count. Trying to equal his high in innings pitched for a save. Foul back again, just able to get a swing going in time to foul that off. So a 2 ball, 2 strike count. Gutierrez, if he can get on. Jackson, we do up next.
23 pitches, 17 in the strike zone, 6 out.
Two. Again, Britton delivers. Gutierrez again fights it off. Boy, he's battling here in this at bat. Keep this ball game alive for Seattle. This is going to be the 9th pitch of this at bat.
Well, you're 32. You missed the whole last year because the arthritic condition, all kinds of symptoms. You're just happy to be able to play. What a tough at bat he's having here.
2 down, nobody on. 2-2 delivery is outside, and he works at full 3-2. Gutierrez having to do this without ever having faced Zach Britton before, which always makes the task of the hitter that much tougher. The interested parties look on. Here's the 3-2 delivery, and Gutierrez lifts it in the air, left center field. Adam Jones giving chase, and that'll fall in. It'll go high off the wall. Gutierrez, what an at-bat. He'll go into second base with a well-earned double. Second hit off Zach Britton.
Yeah, he hits it straight up, but Adam Jones plays so shallow, he just can't get to it. You figure against Britton, you're probably not going to get that kind of fly ball of that depth, but they do.
10 pitch at bat. Wow.
Well, what he did, he forced him to have to throw a strike, and he took advantage of that. To his credit.
So here's Austin Jackson representing the potential tying run in the ball game. He has faced Zach Britton before. 2 for 8. 5 hits for Seattle, 7 for the Orioles. Pitch is in there for a strike. Jackson 0 for 3 in the ball game.
Yeah, not a home run hitter, but certainly 6 of them this year.
0-1 delivery on the way. Last foul outside of first.
Well, let's see if he can do to Austin Jackson what he couldn't do to Franklin Gutierrez, which is to get him to chase a ball out of the zone, not have to throw him a strike. Count certainly allows him to do that. Gutierrez kept fouling him off.
Michael Givens up in the bullpen. This is a new high in pitches thrown this year by Britton. 28 the previous high. This is going to be number 30. 0-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to get away. Gutierrez will move up. I mean, that run can score, as Jim says. You still got another run to work.
Yeah, you're focused on the guy at the plate. You got to figure out how to get Austin Jackson out some way.
This is the 9th inning. The Orioles up 3-1. 2 down. 1-2 delivery on the way, and another one foul back.
Wow.
Mariners just refusing to give up these at bats.
Well, it's like the Angels. They did this all weekend. One-handed swings. One of the great jobs over the weekend by the Los Angeles Angels of making contact with 2 strikes, and then of course they scored 8 runs on Friday night. 5 of them came with 2 outs.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery coming again, and that one's foul tipped just off the end.
Well, just think about it.
Putting on a show here in the 9th inning.
Well, Britton's trying to get an out. They, of course, until they get that 27th out, game continues. And what they've been able to do is get the pitch count up. So maybe Zach might not be available tomorrow night.
I think they've pretty much taken care of that.
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strike count again. And that one is swung on and missed. A run's going to score, and a runner's going to reach. A strikeout, and the ball to the backstop. Gutierrez crosses, and Jackson reaches first base. It's 3-2.
You got to be kidding me. I mean, the ball's jumping and diving all over the place. Again, high velocity tonight. He doesn't catch it. Look at the way he went after it. Just couldn't get it in the glove. And they get the run and the runner.
Pass ball. See Buck Showalter trying to get the attention. Caleb Joseph. Jesus Montero. Now the potential tying run at first. Potential winning run at the plate. Montero 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Britton's delivery to him is in there for a strike.
Yeah. Low strike. Orioles will take that. Chris Guccione has not called that pitch all night, so that's a break. Montero, big guy. He thinks he just ducked one, and
he did.
Yeah. 98, so the velocity certainly hasn't gone down. What a high intensity inning this is. The error, the pass ball.
Montero 2 for 6 off Britton. Will be behind on the count.
You know, it's funny. Zach pretty much has done everything you want to do as a pitcher except be able to get the outs. And, you know, Gutierrez had the 10 pitch at bat, finally got one up and fouled off all the pitcher's pitches.
The Mariners had a home run by Gutierrez in the 2nd. After that, they did not get a runner to second base until the 8th inning. Now they have scored a run in the bottom of the 9th. Britton ready with the 0-2 and 2 down. And a swing and a miss. Tag put on, and this ball game is over. But it was not easy. Zach Britton will record 3 strikeouts. Wei-Yin Chen will get the win. Britton will get the save, and it's a 1-run game.
Take a deep breath. Sit back. And the Orioles little group hug right there. Adam Jones a big part of it. Davis, of course, for the home run, RBI 2. Another, in fact, 2 RBIs, and Wei-Yin Chen 6 and 6. He really pitched well tonight.
Orioles go 15 and 18 in 1-run ball games with this 1-run win. Tomorrow they'll go after game 2. Chris Tillman will be on the mound. Juan Walker will be against him. Our coverage on MASN 2 9:30 O's Extra presented by Jeep, followed by our game coverage at 10. This has been a MASN presentation. A happy recap. Woo-hoo. O's Extra, presented by PNC, is coming up right now. Jim and Rick have it for you. For Jim Palmer and all of our crew here in Seattle, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks, everybody. Adieu.